almost dysfunctional in many ways. In the very primary duty of the Leviathan, at the time, to ensure that we live in peace and security of life and property. It is now almost impossible to wake up any day and not hear of these gory killings of our fellow citizens. Central to our humanity is human solidarity. And every time another Nigerian dies this painful, unnecessary death, every time some citizen is denied their freedom by being taken into captivity in a kidnapping, binge, I am diminished as a human being. And to live in such a time, to see poverty the signature of the land, and watch political actors throw 100 million naira checks like they were buying newspapers, is to live the grave danger of what can come from what is the focus of now, which people see some conversations as a distraction from. It is bearing this in mind, with this very, very heavy heart, that some of us realize that since conversations about 2023 started, we have not managed, in fact, just managed to hear anything resembling ideas about how to fix those problems from those who want power. What we hear is that it is only they who can make Nigeria work. It's their turn because they were denied yesterday. It is they who have enough loyalties to win nominations and then elections. Hardly anything about the Nigerian people and why many who were seeking public office are putting themselves forward. Bringing this conversation back to the fore is therefore a great opportunity to present issues on which we can challenge those who seek public office and hold them ultimately accountable for performance if and when they ascend to those positions of public authority. As a group, we have been trying to focus on our modus vivendi, the way we live, for quite some time. Because there are many who argue that why progress has been challenged in Nigeria is that our grown norm is out of sync and is not owned by the Nigerian people. We all know that there are groups amongst the most strident, the leadership of Afenifere, who say that there should be no elections unless we go through this process of having a new constitutional arrangement that will work. There are those who have said that even if you brought an angel from heaven to run Nigeria, if that angel runs on this constitution, they will fail. And so we thought, if we are to make these elections meaningful, if we are to get the players sensitive to the issues, if we are to ensure some peace and order and begin to pull us together above just partisan concerns, that we should put on the table, put on the agenda, the matter of how we live together. And this is the basis for this intervention and interjection. Our goal is that today it's just a flag of stakeholders getting together to rekindle the issues that are on the table already. When the NCF brought together the fathers of the nation on October 1 of 2020 to bless the land and set a tone for reconciliation, growth, and development for our country. It was a virtual conference to which we invited 70 elders. It ended up being a conference of nearly 130 something of them, because quite a number who were not invited, not because they did not qualify, but because we set a certain number as the target for that conversation. And many began to call to complain. And we said, you were not excluded. Okay, you can come on. In the end, we had about 130 something of them participate. And Alhaji Ahmed Joda, now of blessed memory, who was chair of that event, gave a remarkable opening keynote in which he focused on some of the constitutional reasons for the dysfunctions that have come to characterize the Nigerian state, and suggested a process of reworking the document to achieve those goals. The NCF took that aboard and actually created a constitution review committee made up of several very senior lawyers and non-lawyers, citizens, who could work through the several constitutional conference documents and go all the way. We're privileged that Reverend Father George Husani was one of those that we suggested to serve on that committee. They included, of course, the Lisa Bakobas and Femi Falanos. It included the Dr. Akim Baba Ahmeds of this world. And they tried to do some work. But we thought that a logical way forward for that effort would be to bring together stakeholders across the board today to set a tone, a pattern from which we'll go to regional deliberations. And to have here the aspiring politicians who are president wannabes and who seek other positions of public authority, to get a fair digest of what troubles the people of Nigeria in terms of how we relate. And this was even more important for us because democracies are not one size fits all. In every society, People look at their peculiar circumstances and create what matters, build elite consensus around those. And it is that elite consensus that propels development and progress. And so the quest for elite consensus continues in our country. It's a desperate one now for us, given where our country stands. At a crossroads, where the real question is, who is Nigeria? As Sonny Okosun sang earlier this morning, which way Nigeria? I want to know. Now, we have come here from faith leadership. We've come here from political leadership. We've come here from traditional leadership. We've come here as simple citizens. But together, we can set the tone and the pattern of these conversations. And we can ask ourselves about the main issues troubling our people. What is democracy? Is it a plurality of votes? If you just get together a number of people and you exceed the other people in the counting, everything you have in your intention then prevails. One of the major things about democracy is the ensuring of minority rights. A critical part of the reason that you have electoral colleges, for example, in the United States, is to ensure that a majority don't overwhelm minority. Why every state in the United States has 2 people, no matter how big that state is, in the U.S. Senate. A great British historian, Niall Ferguson, talks about the making of the U.S. Constitution as perhaps the most profound effort at institution building in human history. Not always that I agree with everything that Niall Ferguson says, but you have to look at the kind of effort that they made to craft that document, to understand that being thoughtful in building institutions is what makes for building to last. My hope and my expectation is that the conversations that will start today, that go down the states, that lead to the adapting and synthesis of all these conference outcomes will help our country truly build to last, and will provide those who are running for public office a basis for understanding what the key challenges for our country are. So I thank you also very much for making out the time to come, and I ask you to please recognize that central to the future of Nigeria are the things that you say here today. Thank you and welcome.